What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Ride the Pine, our episode 48 of the show. I am Sean Sprout. That is Adam Freeman and Kenny Hudden. I do not have any announcements for today's episodes, guys. So I don't know if you have anything off the top of the cuff that you want to talk about before we dive into anything, but this is all you guys as an intro.
Follow us on the socials at Pod Ride the Pine. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button.
Yeah.
Guys, I just want to say that I absolutely love this podcast, and there's no place else that I want to be. I want to be right here. This is my home. I will always be here, and I'm glad I get to share it with you guys.
24 hours later, Adam announces he's starting another podcast.
All right, well, I guess should we just kind of dive into it? There was a big game in the NHL that we should probably talk about just a few days ago. Who wants to lead us off?
Big game. There was like 4 of them that we all missed.
To be fair, they stretched the series out. That was like 3 weeks of a series. That could have that meeting could have been an email. That's basically what I'm saying.
For sure. The extra travel day was nice, though. Kudos to the NHL for working that into the schedule, along with all the other stuff that they had to work around. But that extra day, because of the 2,000 miles that they had to travel, was kind of nice. But the season starts next week, so I think training camp opens for a couple teams. It'll be interesting to see what they do in the draft tomorrow, and they'll get this thing started. Free agency might have started already. I'm not really sure.
So while Adam kind of mocks the extra travel day, or at least it sounded condescending, ESPN drew 16.3 million people who watched Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals in what I will classify as the most exciting Game 7 since Patrick Kane scored an over. Was that Game 7? Was that Game? Oh, now I'm debating.
I don't remember if it was or not.
Hold on, I had to verify that
fact. It was. I just want to say welcome to 15 million people that watched Game 7 that are brand new fans to the NHL now because of it.
Their first hockey game? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And we should probably mention the Florida Panthers beat the Edmonton Oilers in Game 7 to win their first Stanley Cup final, right? Their first
Which we all called that the Florida Panthers were going to win.
That is true. We did. So congrats to St. Louis's own Matthew Tkachuk and the Florida Panthers.
And Vladimir Tarasenko. I'll adopt him as one of St. Louis's own.
That counts.
Okay, I'll stand corrected. Kane's goal was in Game 6, so I apologize for that. I can't think of a more exciting Game 7, though, that didn't involve my team. So, and I would say if you were a casual fan, you didn't like the 19 Game 7 because it was kind of an ass whooping. But I said in our text thread, Connor McDavid has officially won me over. It was a Herculean effort in the third period. I don't care what anybody says. It was an effort befit of an MVP. He deserved the Conn Smythe. I get that he didn't come out with it. I'm a little disappointed with that, but whatever. It is what it is. He spoke to the media like a true captain. I was very impressed in Connor McDavid.
To put that into perspective, so he wins the Conn Smythe. Adam, you talked last week that makes him, the 6th person ever to win it for a losing team. He had 42 points total. Evan Bouchard and Leon Draisaitl had 32 and 31 respectively. In any other year, one of those guys is winning your Conn Smythe probably. So the fact that he had 42 is so impressive to me. It's very deserving of the cup. That's an all-time performance. I think we're going to look back on his career and we're going to remember these 7 games, or really this entire playoff run.
I think 100% McDavid deserves the credit to win the Conn Smythe. What I do not believe is that Sasha Barkov was the second best player in all of the playoffs. That should have been Bobrovsky.
Questionable.
Yeah.
I think he was the unanimous second place. Or no, I'm sorry, he had 2 votes, I believe, that were not his for second place. And then third place was all over the board. I think Bobrovsky had like 3 third place votes or something like that, which is crazy. Like you think of, and we said it last week, that really comes down to 2 players. Bobrovsky put that team on his shoulders for the first 3 rounds and really the first 3 games until they laid an egg in game 4 and then just got hammered for 3 straight games. It should have been Bobrovsky that won. And I don't like the fact that the Panthers fans booed when McDavid was announced as the champion or as the Conn Smythe winner, because that's just truthfully disrespectful to what he did. Like, how many times did we hear how many records he broke of Wayne Gretzky's in the playoffs? Like, when you break the records that are held by arguably, well, not arguably, the greatest hockey player of all time, records that will never be touched or held by that man,
Mm-hmm.
you deserve every bit of the Conn Smythe Trophy. Yeah, it sucks. It doesn't go to the winner. You know, not getting to see it hoisted is something that everybody likes to see. Everybody's disappointed for that. I don't think we get a picture of McDavid in that Conn Smythe until the NHL awards, and I believe that's probably going to be the only picture that we get. But for the game, that is the person that should have won it. And the NHL should not have won it any other way, because that's the number 1 star in the league winning that. And it's a team that not everybody gets to watch all the time. You know, if you're in the Eastern Conference, getting to see McDavid play is like us getting to see Mike Trout. You know, we don't get to see it at 2 different time zones. Different division, different league. Like it's tough, and that's what the league needed, is to have him do it. Now they can truly start marketing him as the greatest player in the league. And then shout out to the Panthers. I mean, that game, like Kenny said, was a fantastic game. I believe I said it probably midway through the second period that game had all the makings and probably should have been an overtime game. Like, that game should have gone to overtime. There were 2 or 3 plays that puck should have been in the back of the net to tie the game. But I think that in the end, the better team truly did win. Florida has close to the top end talent. I don't think they match perfectly with McDavid, Draisaitl. Hyman is probably the closest comparison, or maybe right in between Draisaitl and Hyman, as far as like Kachuk and Barkov. But man, they have that deep team, and they've got that physical team. They had 3 defensemen. St. Louis's own Nico Mikkola was their third pairing defenseman. Yeah, I'm claiming him too. I don't think it's the second time on the cup, though. I don't think he got his name on the cup the first time. But they deserved it, and they played their asses off to get it.
I think it also shows that in the NHL, typically the best team is the team that rolls 4 lines deep.
Oh, yeah.
And there wasn't, outside of the game that Florida got shellacked, there wasn't at any point that I felt like any of these lines were a deterrent, right? Or they weren't a bad line. You could have thrown them out there at any time. They continued to be able to roll the lines. Yeah, man. I think Kachuk has the potential of being better than Draisaitl. So with Adam's assessment, I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, because Draisaitl tends to disappear a lot. He kind of disappeared in Game 7. McDavid's kind of effort in that third period, rising tide lifts all boats kind of thing. But when you really look at it, like, Florida's got a ton of deep talent on that team, and that's the reason why they're the early odds-on favorite to win again. Now, it would be odd to see a casino that says they're not. But Sam Bennett was a top 5 pick, right?
I think I saw something. That 2014 draft, the Panthers have 4 players in the top 5 from that 2014 draft.
It's like Bennett, Eklund.
I can't remember who it was.
Man,
Reinhardt, I think, might be in there.
Reinhardt, yeah. I saw it the other day, and I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. But also speaks heavily to the fact that the NHL draft is the biggest crapshoot of all of the sports, and, typically only first rounders make any impact.
And I do believe that series is totally different if Edmonton isn't on an absolute heater on the penalty kill. They had more shorthanded goals than they allowed power play goals.
I
I
mean,
think they were +1 on the penalty
but
kill.
I'll throw that back at you though. What was Florida at?
Florida was
Florida's
up there.
penalty kill was pretty good too.
Florida was up there too, but when you score one power play goal, or I guess they technically scored two because I think they got another one in Game 7. But both of their power play goals, if that second one was on the power play, I can't remember. I think it was right at the end.
No, it was
both
not.
of them. Both
I'm
of them
talking
were on
about them
tips.
on the penalty kill though. They shut down just as good.
Right, but I think if Edmonton is a normal penalty kill, that series is over like we all thought it would
Oh, I see what you're saying. My
be.
bad.
That's the key. And truthfully, Edmonton's power penalty kill, it allowed 2 tip-ins. Both of them were all by Verhaeghe. They were both on tip drills. And the second one was absolutely ridiculous. He stuck his stick about 3 feet off his side and tipped it down between Skinner's legs. Great hand-eye coordination to be able to get that done. But I don't know. It was a great series. It's what the NHL needed. They needed a couple days of being the only sport really being talked about, which was fantastic. They got the attention. They had. I believe that ESPN stepped up their coverage. I 100% believe that the fact that TNT is a better product than ESPN, and I think ESPN stepped it up. I think PK Subban doing national hits. He was all over almost every radio station that he could possibly be on, especially ESPN stations. He was on a couple times, I know, in St. Louis. I think he was just on yesterday or the day before. But I think that they did it right, and that's what they needed, and hopefully the momentum carries. I do like Florida as the pick going into next year. Obviously, they win; they have a good team. I think Dallas is going to give them a hell of a run, and then I think you have a couple other teams too.
So that was kind of going to be my next point about my next question really is which one of these teams could make it back. And a caveat to that, or at least a part of that to mention, is that Leon Draisaitl did not score for 9 straight games. He didn't score in this series. So what does Edmonton do with him going forward? He has 1 year left on his deal. Edmonton is pretty much at the cap, even though the cap is going to be going up. What do they do with Leon Draisaitl? Do they look to re-sign him to potentially then turn around and sign McDavid? Do they move on from him? Do they trade him? What gets Edmonton back? Because I think we all think that Florida can make it back to the Stanley Cup right next year. They're a very deep team. They have the talent. What does Edmonton need to do to get back?
So I would love to answer that question, but I do want to. I want to say one thing.
Mhm.
ESPN, you missed Barkov raising the cup.
Yes, that's true.
What the hell? Okay. If I'm the Edmonton Oilers and I am the GM of the Edmonton Oilers, I call Doug Armstrong tonight. And I say, what does it take to get Jordan Bennington from you?
And I wouldn't do it if I'm Armstrong.
I don't think Edmonton would offer enough. I think we've seen recent trades happen in the last couple of days where goalies are going for not even first rounders. I don't think that trade even is remotely possible because I think the Blues are going to ask for significantly more than Edmonton is willing to give up.
And if
that
I'm Doug
includes
Armstrong, I was going to say, if I'm Armstrong, my rebuttal would be Draisaitl then.
I think that deal can get done without having to sell off Bennington. I really do.
But no. That was not the question that was posed. You can't answer it like a Blues fan. I'm putting myself in the scenario of an Oilers GM. I am calling every team with a Jordan Bennington who, if you look at all the metrics, Bennington played phenomenal. He just had a bad defense in front of him. I'm calling him. I'm calling.
Their phone call should have been made to Boston. They should have got Allmark or Swayman, one of those two, and that call was already made, which is crazy to me. I don't even think that the Stanley Cup had a beer in it, and that trade was already posted. Well,
that goes back to the point of how long the Stanley Cup took place.
Oh, for sure.
All these other teams, the 29 other teams are all just chomping at the bit to get going. They're just waiting for the series end.
Speaking of the Boston Bruins, sorry, can we talk about how RA got absolutely bitched by the Kachuk family?
That was pretty good.
Big Walt on the ice looks at him and goes, "Fuck you, I'm done with you guys."
Yeah.
Amazing.
Back to the idea about Binnington getting traded for Draisaitl and what Edmonton needs. Does Edmonton actually need an upgrade at goalie? Skinner was not terrible. He had 14 wins, 9 losses through the playoffs, a .901 save percentage, and 2.45 goals against.
I mean, I think they need to add depth. A goalie would be fantastic. We've said it. I believe we said it in the last podcast. You need a goalie. You need a top 5 goalie to win a Stanley Cup. You can make a run if you have a deep team. It's definitely possible. But I think that if I'm Edmonton, I go to Connor McDavid and I say, hey, one, what is it going to take to keep you here? What do I have to do? That he only has 2 years left on his deal. Do you really want to be in Edmonton? Is it the long term? We can sign you. We'll get an extension worked up. Whatever they can do, at least get something in the works. And 2, what do you want around you? So here's our options. Here's what we're gonna do.
I think you go about it a little differently than that. I think you go to Draisaitl and you ask him if he is interested in re-signing. If the answer is no, then you immediately move on from him in this offseason. You trade him for pretty much anything that you can get because they don't have the cap space anyway to go on and take on multiple contracts. So you probably move on from him. If the answer is yes, he is interested in coming back, you say, cool, $9 million AAV. Because I don't think you can, as Edmonton, can afford a 14, 13, 15, whatever it is, $1 million contract AAV for Draisaitl and then turn around and pay McDavid. So you offer that.
It's going to be.
You offer that 9, and if he says no, you move him, and then you go to McDavid and you put a blank check in front of him, and you say, let's end your career at Edmonton. We're going to take the next 3 years to rebuild, and then we're going to get you back to the Stanley Cup.
I don't think that's the way to do it, though. If I'm McDavid, I'm not playing through a rebuild. And that's what, correct me if I'm wrong, that's what Edmonton wanted to do with Gretzky, and then they ended up having to trade it.
It is, and I'm not saying that McDavid would do that, but I think from a franchise point, if you have to pick between the two, you've got to offer the bank to McDavid as opposed to Draisaitl, right?
So I don't think, Sean, your number gets done because right now, currently, his AAV is 8.5. Yes. He also has a no trade and a no movement clause on Capitals Friendly.
Well done.
And only 10 teams
claim that and copyright it.
Yeah, that's we're gonna use that one. And he's 28. I mean, it's almost the opposite. It's like he's made his money already. Like a lot of guys are looking for their money contract right now. Like, so 9 years, I think you could get a lot of guys done, but he's earned $68 million and he's already, 28. He'll be 29 by the end of this contract. Like maybe 9 gets it done, but I'm not offering him 9 at very long.
9 won't get it.
9 for 6 would probably be all I would do.
He's gonna ask for 13 to 14, and he's gonna want it for probably 6.
The only way he gets that though is if he plays for a Canadian team.
Right. That's exactly what I was just gonna say.
I don't think any American team is gonna give him that much. They might give him 9.5, but I don't think he makes. He's not 10, 11 in America.
Realistically, what I think it will happen is I think they're going to deal him. They're going to move him to wherever. It really doesn't matter. It's going to be kind of like a Buchnevich situation where he was moved on a 1-year deal, and then he's going to test the free agent market. That's different than the Buchnevich situation. If it is a Canadian team, we can rule out Toronto. They don't have the cap space to make the move. So what? Calgary? Ottawa?
Oh, God.
I don't know if I see that happening.
So the Oilers, though, have $10 million projected in cap space.
But that's also, you got to keep in mind that they have to pay these 2 guys. And I mean, they might look at, if they actually pay both of these guys what they're probably going to ask, that's nearing $30 million in 2 players.
Here's part of your problem. Dylan Holloway, gone. Connor Brown, gone. Adam Henrique, gone. Matthias Janmark,
Henrique will
gone.
stay. Jan
I
Mark
mean,
will stay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 free agents. There's one restricted in Holloway. Sam Gagne is on the team. I don't know why. Like, I didn't think he was even playing anymore, besides the fact. And then you also have Broberg and 2 other defensemen I haven't heard of who are free agents. So, I mean,
so they almost have to be able to deal Draisaitl to be able to fill 8 contract spots.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if
it's that, okay, or you're doing a rebuild with 2 superstars and nobody on your 3rd and 4th line.
What is the cap projected to be at?
Is it 87 or 88?
Okay, so this number then is projected cap hit with the new number. So that means they've got $10 million in space, and they've got potentially 11 free agents to sign if they wanted to bring back everybody. I mean, you could theoretically open up another $4.5 million, because here's the dirty little secret too. Even if you get the world, you get Edmonton by the short and curlies and get Draisaitl, you're going to ask for him to retain 50% of his salary.
So what about this one? Let's go to the Blues side of this. Sean, you asked about, Binnington, or Kenny, you mentioned Binnington. Go to the Blues side. If they asked for Kyrou, would you make that trade?
Hell to the yeah.
No.
Right?
No, actually, I wouldn't. I don't think I would.
I wouldn't.
I'd make that trade. Even if it's for a year of Draisaitl. The only reason is because you got a long-term contract off the books, and you may have to give up a little bit more, but Kyrou has a huge value, being 25, locked up for 7 more years at a hell of a deal, whether anybody wants to believe it or not. When you have a player that's going to be making, $8 million, and he's close to a point-a-game player, and everybody else is going to be 8 figures, that's a good deal.
Here is why I say if you're the Blues, you don't. Because you're only free agents, 1 restricted in Alexandrov, who you probably re-sign, but he's minimum. You have almost $15 million in cap space if you're the St. Louis Blues. 1, 2, okay. The other one's Sammy Blake, bye. Kapanen, bye. Scandella, bye. Like,
Verona,
maybe I would. Maybe who?
Verona, he's gone too.
Verona is not on this list because he's
because he was in the minors. Yeah.
So again, okay, I'm going to rephrase and say no if I'm the St. Louis Blues, because I think they might make a big splash. But getting back, holy hell, I thought the Blues had a lot of cap room. The Florida Panthers have $19.5 million. Let's see how bad this situation is.
Before you mention that, just to talk about the Blues, since you brought them up, I don't think they're going to make that move. I don't think they should make that move. I don't think the problem for the Blues is forward, at least top line. I think the problem is defense, and I think they're going to go out and they're going to make a trade for a top line defenseman. I don't think there's any free agency out there to bring in. They have the cap space to make a move. I think they're going to do it. I think the only forward that they bring in of note is probably going to bring back David Perron.
See, the only issue that I have with something like that is that we're not trading. If Kyrou is getting traded, he's not getting traded for a defenseman. It has to be a defenseman for a defenseman trade. We can't take another contract on the blue line for that. So we have to either package Letty and Kyrou, and we find a way to get like an Ekblad or somebody like that. Like, that's the only way we're going to do it. No team's going to take on $12 million in cap space.
I don't think Kyrou is even going to be on the table.
I think he has to be. And the only reason I say that is because he has a high value, being a point-a-game player, being 25 years old, being an affordable contract, and he's at a position that you can deal from.
But what you just described, you know how hard it is to find those kinds of guys in the NHL?
I agree. But if you can get a high pick and a high prospect and a third line player, cool. I take that in a heartbeat. It sounds stupid, but I take it. It gives you cap space.
Also,
And
keep
then
in
you
mind
go
the
and make
fact
that
that
trade
we're
for a
currently
defense.
operating basically with two GMs, one with the current
Right.
job, one in the waiting. One cannot make a decision past 2 years without the other one's approval. One cannot make any
Right.
decisions that affect the present without thinking of the future. I don't think a move like that happens. I don't think Kairu's going anywhere. I think he's locked up specifically so that when the new GM takes over, then he has the pieces that he can deal. Because at that time, Kairu will be what? 28, he'll be Dreisaitl's age. We're probably talking about him moving at that time, not now.
He'll be in the no movement phase of it, though. That's the problem. His no movement kicks in because Kenny has to be 26, right?
Sure.
For no movement. I think there's something weird. That's why he still has his extension. His extension kicks in dollar wise, but because of his age, it doesn't kick in until after next year. So this year he has a full ability to be traded. After that, because of age, you can't be traded if you have a no movement clause.
So you're saying basically now or never.
It's now or never. Now or 4 years down the line when his no trade list kicks in.
I'm not ready to give up on Kairu just yet.
I think there's a lot of potential there, but I'm not moving Thomas, that's for sure. I would keep Thomas over Kairu, and he gives you that value. He has an opportunity to go find somebody that can plug a gap, give you cap space, give you a hefty load of potential return, which we'll take that as just basically money. And you get the opportunity. You can still go out and add a defenseman, or you can go trade for a defenseman. It gives you a lot of options, but yeah, it'll be interesting for them to see what they do. Kenny, what were you going to say?
Brady Ski, left-handed defenseman, 30 years old. You could probably get him for 7.5.
I go with Baby Barkov. Lundell's an RFA.
Who?
Anton Lundell from the Panthers. Baby Barkov. I think he's a forward. That's who I want if I'm going after an RFA.
Ski is not an RFA. He's an unrestricted.
Oh, I thought Ski was an RFA.
Nope.
Even better.
Yep.
Perfect.
Even though apparently Rivers was talking about the Blues offer sheeting somebody. That is the rumor.
It's
Lundell rumor. Yeah.
It's Lundell or Natchez from Carolina. If a trade doesn't get done on time.
I would love Natchez, but talk about somebody who disappeared.
Oh yeah.
In the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like poof. Okay. I mean, man, Florida might be in some trouble.
Yeah, they got a lot of guys.
You've got Tarasenko, who's borderline, but you've got to figure out Sam Reinhart.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Oposko's probably gone. I mean, maybe the forwards aren't as bad as I thought. And we don't. I'm not privy to what their minor league teams look like. But as far as the defense goes, you've got that Montour, who I thought played great. He's a free agent. And then so is Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Take it for what it is. That Kulikov, Dmitry Kulikov. I believe I'm saying that right.
Yep.
I mean, that's an option. So, I mean, Florida's going to have to make some big signings. That 19 is going to get spent real quick.
Yeah, I agree. I think they will too.
I agree.
Cool. Let's move on.
Right.
Second topic of the day is less of a topic and more of a game that we have prepared. And this game is all about how well do you know your co-host. So it's going to be Adam and Kenny. You guys are going to play. And who wants to call heads or tails?
Call it. Call it, yes. For a whole lot. Just call it.
All right, Adam, call it in the air.
Tails.
It's tails. Do you
want to coughing?
Do you want to answer the questions, or do you want to pass?
So do we get the same question? We have to. Is this like the Newlywed Game? We have to write down our answers.
No.
So Kenny's going to go mute.
So what's going to happen is one of you is going to answer 3 questions while the other one leaves. We will call you back in whenever it is time. and then I will explain the rest of the game when that time comes.
Okay, I will answer questions first.
Okay, so Kenny, take your phone with you. You need to go on mute and step away, and we'll message you when you can come back. He's sauntering away. All right, Adam, your first question. What athlete, specifically one athlete, did you idolize growing up?
Me or Kenny?
You.
Oh, mine was Adam Oates.
Interesting. Okay.
He's never going to get that.
Second question. If you could take one sports personality or icon or athlete to dinner, who would it be?
Oh, man. There's two. Mine would be relevancy, Scott Van Pelt.
Okay, that's a good one.
He's not going to get that one either.
No, he's not.
We're going to go 0 for 3 for both of us.
And finally, which sport personality or icon or athlete could you beat in a fight? Hand-to-hand combat, no weapons.
How relevant does this person have to be?
Up to you.
All right. I think that I could take. I'm going to stay relevant here. I think I could beat up Matt Carpenter.
I don't know. I'm questioning that one.
I think I could take him.
I feel like he's got some fight in him. All right, let's get
Maybe.
Kenny back in here.
Sean, I don't know where you're going with this game, but I have a feeling that neither of us are going to get any of these.
Welcome back, Kenny. All right, so I'm first going to tell you Adam's answers. So the three answers he gave is Adam Oates, Scott Van Pelt, and Matt Carpenter.
Oh, I see what you did here.
So it's Jeopardy, reverse Jeopardy. Okay.
Of those three, who did Adam pick as the athlete he idolized growing up?
Well, it's not Scott Van Pelt. I want to say I'm assuming it's Chris Carpenter, so I'm going to go Chris Carpenter.
Okay. Second question. If Adam could take one sports personality, icon, or athlete to dinner, who would it be? So you have Adam Oates or Scott Van Pelt.
I'm going to go SVP.
Okay. And finally, that means Adam Oates. Adam thinks he can beat Adam Oates in a hand-to-hand fight. Adam, do you want to tell him how wrong he was?
He got one.
Yeah, you got one right. So the one you got right is if you could take one sports personality to dinner, who would it be? That was Scott Van Pelt. And then flip the other two. What athlete?
No way.
What athlete do you idolize growing up? Adam said Adam Oates. And then which sports personality could you beat up in a fight? He said Matt Carpenter, which I do not believe. I'm calling shenanigans on that.
I think I could.
You just said Carpenter. I don't think that's very fair.
I said Matt Carpenter.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't paying attention.
The listeners will tell us, but I'm pretty sure I said Matt Carpenter.
All right, I'm going. All right, Kenny's going now.
No. That was it.
That's the whole game.
It's just one round.
Oh, let's do it for Kenny.
I do like this, so I think.
Oh well, I have the same questions.
We can run the same questions.
Yeah, run the same questions.
Okay.
I'll be back. Yeah.
Run it.
You're gonna have to repeat these questions.
I know. I figured. All right, we'll go right down the list again. So, Kenny, what athlete did you idolize growing up?
Ken Griffey Jr.
You know what? I knew that one. Okay. If you could take one sports personality, icon, or athlete to dinner, who would it be?
Man, can they be dead or do they have to be alive?
There are no stipulations to this game. You can pick anybody you want. Now,
man,
I'll give you a slight hint to how you should answer this. Adam did not ask that question, clearly.
Okay. All right. Man, I don't know. I don't know if there's anybody like that I like pinpoint to that I'd really like to have a conversation with that is alive. I feel like it's a bunch of people who are dead. Like I would like Bob Gibson was the first name that came to mind. That's why I asked.
Bob Gibson.
That's why I asked that question. So
let's roll.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Bob Gibson.
Yeah, I mean it's supposed to be right off your dome, so that's a good one. And then finally, which sports personality, icon, or athlete could you beat in a fight? Hand-to-hand combat, no weapons.
Man, okay. So I think it would have to be a baseball player. Very heavy baseball. I think Sean's gonna know where I'm gonna go to this. He's very scrappy. He won a World Series MVP. I think I could beat up David Eckstein.
I'll be completely honest with you. I think that was gonna be my pick. Okay, let's get Adam back in here.
This is good. I like this. I like this game.
What we'll do in the future is I'll come up with different questions, and I think they have to be. I think they should be names every time. We'll see. Yeah. We'll play around with it a little bit.
There's one he should get right away.
Yeah.
If he
John Jones.
So Adam has the I guess the advantage in this game because he knows all three of the questions going into the second round. So maybe we'll tweak that going forward as well.
Oh yeah. So, I didn't think about that part of it.
Yeah. Kenny's 3 answers. Let's go with Bob Gibson, Ken Griffey Jr., David Eckstein.
All right, so I do have the advantage. This is easier. Idol is Junior.
Okay, so what athlete he idolized growing up? You're saying
Junior.
Okay.
Conversation is Gibson. He's not beating up Bob Gibson. That's for sure.
and beat up Boot in a state right now.
And he sweeps the game.
Next time.
3 for 3. Well done. All right. So Adam takes the first edition of we had to come up with a catchy name for this game as well. Clearly we're doing this on the fly. We got to work on this.
We'll troubleshoot. We'll come back.
Yeah. We'll workshop it.
Hold on. Let's while we're at it. Everybody remembers my favorite game. Does John Cena follow them on Twitter? Yeah. I'm gonna throw out a random personality, and you guys you want to alternate, or you just want to take random guesses and just be like.
I say we go head to head, and we both.
Why don't we just write down our answers?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, go fast.
Tony X.
Okay.
SEC Mike.
Okay.
Barack Obama.
Oh, I mean, come on.
Okay.
Paul Feinbaum.
Okay.
One of my fraternity brothers who owns a media company now, Tom Martin.
2 first names.
Yes. Molly Bozak.
Ooh.
That's a tough one.
Ooh, that is a tough one. Okay.
He does. He's a horny bastard.
R.A. Speaking of the Rear Admiral, R.A. Spitting Chicklets.
Okay.
And last but not least, Young Page Views, a.k.a. YP. I forget what his real name is. I know it's Ben something.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know majority of these names.
Are you kidding?
Don't you know?
We'll go down the list. I know Barack Obama.
That's a good start. Great. All right, Kenny, go start from the top.
I forgot what order I went in.
God.
So, wait. Yeah. Tony X.
I
John
said
Cena
no.
does follow.
Damn.
John Cena does follow Tony X. I believe I said SEC Mike next.
Yes.
He does not follow SEC Mike.
Shit. Things are going great.
Did I said Barack Obama next, right? Barack Obama. He follows Barack Obama.
On the board.
Paul Feinbaum. Paul follows Paul Feinbaum. Molly Bozak. You guys are both right. He doesn't follow Molly. You know, she was great on Twitter during 2019. So anything, you know, there was a chance. Tom Martin. He actually does follow Tom.
That felt like a curveball.
That one threw me up for a loop. That's for sure.
I forget that. So they've got a contract with the PGA. His company does, Let It Fly Media. So like, he's pretty high up there. So it doesn't shock me, but it shocked me, right? Like, and then RA from Spittin' Chicklets. Yes, he does. And what do you guys got for score right now?
So I have 5.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6.
Ooh, okay.
All right. So chance at a tie. Does he follow YP, formerly of Barstool? Adam
that was a cheater.
Yes and seals the win. He does follow YP.
I just want to say, John Cena, I just got 7 out of 8 of your followers correct. Please give us a follow. We love you. Even though we can't see you, we do love you.
And even though I lost, I feel like I did significantly better this time than the last time.
You did do better last time. This is much better.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the one time Cameron played it, he like was awful. And the inside joke was, I think I only had like 2 people out of 20 that John Cena actually didn't follow.
I mean, to be fair, to be fair.
Okay,
thank you.
Oh, I missed it.
So I think he pretty much follows everybody. It's pretty rare if you could find one that he does not follow.
Does not follow at Ride the Pine.
Yeah, we're working on that one. All right. End of show?
End of show.
All right.
Wrap
Good
it
stuff,
up.
guys. That was a good time. Reach out to us on our socials, guys. Email the show. You can contact us, podridethepine@gmail.com. You can follow us on all the socials on TikTok, Instagram, X, Threads, Pod Ride the Pine. Give us a like, give us a follow, and subscribe to the YouTube. Got a lot of stuff coming out.
Yes. Click, subscribe, notify.
Cool. All right. Do we have a topic for next week that we want to plug?
4th of July. It's the Great Wiener Eating Challenge.
That's right. Is that on 4th of July, or they do it like a day before?
Typically, it's on 4th of July.
So no option of live streaming, huh?
No, it's at 11 a.m. too.
Oh yeah, no. Okay. All right. Well, we'll review it. How's that?
It'll be a 2-man show next week.
Technically, next week when we record, it'll be before 4th of July. So our 50th. We can review the Wiener Eating Challenge.
That's perfect. That's almost like we planned it.
Yeah, couldn't have been any better.
All right, let's get out here. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.